And welcome to the May meeting of Geology Club. I don't have any fancy video intros like I have the past few months. April was a busy month, I will tell you, for this club. We picked up a lot of members. We had a lot of things to coordinate, and we have a lot of great things happening. So a lot of things are gonna come your way soon. We are very happy to bring it to you. So on behalf of Tina Kruger, Joe McNamara, and myself, and also Sylvia Eppig, Vanessa Burnett, Joanna Colvin Gaines, Gamble, sorry, and Michael Fowler. Excuse me. Sorry about that, everyone. All right, so we're going to get started with a very special feature tonight. I'm going to show you a little about behind the scenes of the premiere and the segment of Susquehanna Gold from Lifeblood, Chesapeake River Stories. And that was airing on Maryland Public Television last month. I couldn't show it to you then because I would have gotten sued because they hadn't premiered it on the channel yet. So now I can, and here you go. Hopefully everyone enjoys. Dirt Man here in Easton, Maryland, on the Eastern Shore at the Avalon Theater. And we're here for the premiere of Lifeblood, Chesapeake River Stories, which I'm in this first 6 minutes. So let's go check it out. So here at the Avalon Theater, I am a VIP. This is going to be a great premiere. Let's sit down, check this out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I really believe that everybody has a story to tell, and I think that if you make them comfortable, which I try to do, because I think I choose people that I genuinely like and I genuinely like their story. I think if you make them comfortable enough, hopefully they'll open up to you. But once you get somebody talking about something they love, they forget about the camera. And, I think that's what makes a great story.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks.
A vascular network of 100,000 rivers, creeks, and streams carries billions of gallons of water into Chesapeake Bay each day. Waterways that shape and sustain the bay's landscapes and communities. They are its lifeblood. The Chesapeake Bay's largest source of freshwater, the Susquehanna River, is one of the world's oldest, predating the modern bay by more than 300 million years. It's older than the Appalachian Mountains, which are believed to have formed around it. Evidence of the ancient waterway's earliest days still remains. If, like geology enthusiast Andrew Eppig, you know where to look.
We're looking for signs of an ancient fossilized beach.
Known to his social media followers as Andrew Rockhound, he travels the East Coast for his Dirtman report.
A few years ago, my Central PA Rock and Mineral Club named me Rockhound of the Year. I took the name Andrew Rockhound and it's kind of stuck.
Today, he's in South Central Pennsylvania.
This is Chickies Rock, one of the oldest rocks along the river. Oh, that actually looks really good today, actually. This rock is actually way older than the Susquehanna River. These are 540 million year old ripple marks, just like you would see at a beach.
As the river formed, geologists believe it cut through the rock, exposing the ripples that even back then were ancient history. A more recent display of the river's power can be found a few miles upriver. Conewago Falls, known informally as the Conewago Potholes, formed a mere 8,000 years ago.
The glaciers that existed north in the state were melting. That came down the Susquehanna Basin and started cutting into these rocks, forming this smooth landscape. During that time, rocks like this, like a little tiny rock, would get caught in a vortex and start spinning around, and it would cut into these rocks and leaving this smooth hole that we call it a pothole. It's a very artistic, almost, sculpted landscape. And also, when you have a nice rock like this and you have gravels built up on the backside, And sometimes even in the potholes themselves, that's where it collects gold. So you can even come out here and try to find a little piece of gold for yourself.
You heard him, Susquehanna Gold.
I tell people here that have lived here for years and years, decades, and their whole lives, and never knew that there was gold here.
Andrew also happens to be vice president of the Keystone Treasure Hunters.
Mainly, we are a gold club. You know, we like to look for gold, find gold in streams and rivers and stuff like that. But we also do a lot of metal detecting. Pretty much anything that's treasure, we like to find.
The prospectors lease a stretch of stream not far from the river. The exact location is kept under wraps, though they happily welcome newcomers to their monthly meetings.
All right, Troop 174, welcome to the Keystone Treasure Hunters. We are going to show you how to gold pan, and each are going to get to leave with a piece of gold today.
Some Pennsylvania gold comes from Canada, long ago carried south by glacial outflows. But in these parts, there's native gold.
I'll show you how to get it into a vial. This is an area that has been known to prospectors for many years for producing gold straight out of the rock.
Formed by volcanic activity more than 400 million years ago. This gold is typically found in small, fine flakes.
It still gives me a little chill when I see it in the pan. And the more I see, the better. Over 13 years, I've got right around 1.5 ounces of gold.
In the name of efficiency, many of the treasure hunters use small dredges. In Pennsylvania, they're legal on private property only.
The material, when it comes through the grizzly bars up here, screens out the larger materials. All of the smaller materials go down into the sluice box. And eventually the heavier sands and the gold will trap in the riffles of these rubber mats that I have. You go play around the golf and you got nothing to show but a scorecard at the end of it. I can come out here for an afternoon and probably spend about the same amount of money, but I end up with a little bit of gold. And it's back to that kid thing, getting in the water and the mud puddles and playing.
So I was going in the stream here and I found 2 pieces of gold.
I have never actually seen 2 pieces of gold come out in a single pan. That is really rare and very special.
Special enough to ignite a lifelong passion? It's been known to happen.
There's 2 there, and there's one, there's one, there's one. I've been doing it since I was about 14. I don't drink or gamble, but it's kind of like that. Once you had your first taste of a win, you're hooked.
All right, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed that. The reason why I wanted to share that with everyone is we here at Geology Club, we're not just about crystals and minerals and fossils. There is a whole other side of things too. Gold is out there, and the treasure hunters have actually been very much a part of this club since the beginning. The very first 2 members of this club, the first 2 paying members, were Keystone Treasure Hunters. So they've been with us since the beginning, and we've always planned to do more gold opportunities, gold things, trips, and things like that for members. So I just wanted to expose you all to that, and if you have any interest in doing more trips that are gold based, email me, let me know, and we'll get them together. Also the history behind all of that. Basically, most of the history, the Chickies Rock, the Conewago potholes, all of that, I do want to tribute to Jerry Jones. He wrote the book on that area, and that's where I got my information. And he also did confirm and verify things for the Maryland Public Television crew. So I wanted to give him a little shout out there. But let's move on. Hope you all enjoyed that. And big shout out to young Kyle Kessler, who is on the meeting tonight. He was in that as well. So, all right, moving on tonight. I'm going to move this out of the way. All right. So that was Lifeblood. You can see that on YouTube and check out the whole film. It's an hour long. There's other segments to it. Okay. Bedrock Bulletin. You all know that we did not send out an April newsletter. So there will be one this month. We didn't have enough really to send out. We want to make sure that we're not wasting your time. So we, held off until this month. We have some great stuff coming your way. However, we do want your contributions. We want everything. If you got poetry, rock stories, trip recaps, specimens, pictures, videos, whatever, send them our way. Geology Club News at gmail.com. We want to share it with the community. So, we'd love to hear from you. And AFMS Future Rockhounds of America Badge Program. I wanted to make sure everyone saw this again this month. If you have youth, learn more at juniors.amfed.org, the FRA badge program. You can basically do this, with your family on your own, and then send it to us or see me on a trip. I will make sure that you all get the badges as long as, you provide, what you did, and there are different criteria. But you can do this now on your own. We are going to try to provide access to being able to earn some of these badges on our trips throughout the year. We already have 6 youth members that have earned their fossil badge. So we'd like to continue that. And along those lines, we really need a youth director. Please, anyone who has youth experience, is ready to make a difference in the community. I've been trying to handle so much, and I've been running the youth side of things too. We have some really great things. Mike Fowler and I have been working on some really cool apps. They're coming the members' way soon. We're tweaking them, and there's some things that we're getting through, but it's very exciting. So we're only helping whoever would come and join and help us out with the youth director position. Along those lines, I just mentioned it. We are developing apps. We have some very exciting things. We already have some beta testers, and they have already tested the first app. We have some feedback already on it. We'd like to get some more. And we have a couple more apps to test. So it's not too late. If you'd like to be a beta tester, and if you'd like to check out the behind the scenes of Geology Club and see what we're working on before the rest of the members, email us, geologyclubnews@gmail.com. We'll get you right into the program. I actually do have to send out to a few more people in the next day or so. So get in now. We'll get you in on that email list, and you'll get right into some of the app that we're trying to test out. So love to have you. All right. Let's get some trip recaps. This was a great trip here. Ohio UV fluorescent trip on Lake Erie. I believe that might be Kyle, who's on the meeting tonight, holding that rock. That might not be. That might be Samantha's daughter. I'm not sure. That was sent to me. But I think that is Kyle. Anyway, they had some great stuff out there. I don't know if Samantha is on here tonight, if she wanted to say a word or two, but if not,
Yep,
all right.
I'm here.
Yeah, did you want to just recap the trip real quick?
Sure. So there are many different neolites here in Ohio, which we had no idea about, because, when you think of the kind of like the Uperlates coming out of Michigan, you think of this one right here on the picture. And actually, Justin gave us a great lesson about the different kinds. There's this one right here. They call it a scapulite. And then there's also one that looks like little galaxies. It looks like stars in the sky. And then there's just your normal ones that are just plain orange. But then there's also ones that have fluorite in them that glow purple. We learned a lot. Everybody, I hope, had a great time, and I enjoyed meeting everybody that came out from Pennsylvania.
Awesome. Thank you, Samantha. Samantha's doing big things and great things for the club behind the scenes, and we thank her very much for all of it. She is the VUG director out there in Ohio, taking care of all the Ohio members. All right, National Limestone. Look how many people we had there. The parking lot was full. Very cool to see you all come out, and there was a lot of first-timers out on that one, so we were trying to keep you all safe, and we hope you all found great stuff. It was a great time with a lot of great people. So, all right, new trips. Here we go. First off, let me address one thing. We have the Lancaster Amethyst trip already filled. So we found out Saturday afternoon the details. Saturday night, we released them to the members with a minimum of 50 members attending. We had no clue that we were going to get such a big response that we were going to have to shut it down at 100 members due to the farmer being worried about that. Within 18, I mean, it was not even 18 hours. I was sitting at Mother's Day dinner the next afternoon and freaking out in front of the family because there's 100 people already signed up and I've got to shut off the sign up sheet from my phone. Basically, the farmer is a great gentleman and we don't want to make him mad. So he was fine with more than 50, but over 50, he got a little nervous due to cars and all that kind of thing. So that is why we had to shut that one down, just purely to not, offend or piss off the owner of the property. Congratulations to the 100 that got in. We're going to have a great day out there. So please come ready to find lots of great crystals, and hopefully it doesn't rain. All right. So also this weekend is the Connecticut trip with Central PA Rock and Mineral Club. Renee Kowalczyk is taking care of that on the Central PA side. She should be getting back to you with confirmations and all that with today or tomorrow. I'm not sure if those went out. But the Tilken Quarry and the Hewitt Gem Mine, they are both set. Sent out insurance certs for those today. All right. And then next weekend, Memorial Day weekend, Area 52, the big trip of the year so far. That is full. We are going to have an amazing time up there. So we're going to get lots of footage and hopefully find lots of great crystals. Really going to be a spectacular time up there. After that, the next weekend, 531, the number 9 coal mine and Lehigh anthracite. Word is, Central PA got in there a week or two ago, or a month or something. They were finding some really nice plant fossils and some quartz crystals. So I think there's still time to get in on that one. Sign up sheet still should be on that last field trip email. All right, and if you don't have it, just email us. We'll send it to you. 613. We didn't really have anything in June yet, so we're gonna do. We are waiting to hear back. We have signed up with the office for 613 at Pickering. Once we confirm that, we will add that to the field trip list and send that out. But just want to let everyone know that it's probably going to happen. But please wait to find out. So July 11th and 12th. 250th anniversary of the country. We're going to go to 2 historic quarries, the New Paris Quarry out in Bedford County, PA, and the Texas Quarry in Cockeysville, Maryland. What better quarry to get into on the 250th anniversary than the quarry that produced a lot of the marble for the Washington Monument? There you go. It's going to be a great trip. We're going to go down in the big pit, so that sign up will be going out. The next weekend after that, 7, 18, and 19. So Saturday, we have 20 free members allowed to get into Diamond Mountain. So we'll run a raffle for that. We'll do a sign up and a raffle for Diamond Mountain. And then those who don't get in on the raffle, and then also those who just want to go to Mohawk Valley Mineral Mining, we're going to be there Saturday and Sunday over at Mohawk, and we will have a discount. I still have to talk to Scott yet. It's been on my list to call him. But, last year it was something like $40 a day, or $50 a day, $80 if you were there for 2 days. So I'm going to make sure it's all good. There'll be a discount code that I'll send around, and you just register on the website and it'll all be good. We don't have anything for August quite yet. August is the hottest month of the year, so those trips are, we got to be careful with those heat strokes and that kind of stuff. We don't want to kill our members. So, hopefully we can do some kind of water thing, collecting in a stream or something. September 5th and 6th, we're back at Area 52. That's the Labor Day version of the Memorial Day that we are about to do. So Labor Day, another 45-ish members will get to go in there. And then after that, September 26th, this is a special trip. We set this up through Ryan Klockner. This is a UV collecting trip. We're going to do it towards, evening, so that, you have a little bit of dusk and a little bit of nighttime to be able to see these things. But these are the dumps. This is a private location. These are the dumps for the High Street Franklinite Company in Franklin, New Jersey. So, same area as the famous Sterling Hill and, all that. So that's a pretty exciting one. That's going to be a limited attendance, I believe, as well. We're still getting, we'll get the details out to you on that. But I believe that's going to be a $30 fee for that one per person. But you can take out as much as you want, unlike the museums that charge you like per pound. So, all right, and that's all of them. And we're going to run a bunch more trips in between. We just, these are the big ones that, we're worried about, and we'll send out emails for the pop-up trips that come up. Okay, Rock Hound of the Month. Keeping it moving here. So, who is the May Rock Hound of the Month? Who is it? Well, this is nominated only by the members. Leadership has nothing to do with this. Leadership team, we only vote on, which of the nominations we think, should be that. But this is nominated by the members, for the members. Leadership team can't even win this. This is only for members. So who won it for May? Congratulations, Tony Blewett. You are the winner. We actually, Vanessa Burnett and Tony were nominated together, but Vanessa is part of the leadership team, so she was not able to win it. So, Tony, if you're on tonight, you want to unmute and just be like, woo! Congratulations, sir.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Awesome.
Can't believe you used a picture of the deer.
Yeah.
You said he cried that.
I found that picture of the deer. I was like, I got to use
He did
that.
that. He wanted to bring it home.
It's cute.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
congratulations, sir. You're going to get one of the first Rock Hound of the Month t-shirts. So y'all can see the new t-shirt that we designed. That is brand new. That was designed by Tina and her husband. So congratulations. And remember to nominate. If we don't have any nominations, no one's going to win next month. So, be on it. Get it in there. All you have to do is email us or message us on Facebook or something. Just, whoever you think is the Rock Hound of the Month, submit them. All right. Here we go, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, got to go back. I'm just going to stop sharing anyway. All right. We have some fantastic stuff tonight. I have it all right here. Okay. It was all on that screen. In fact, I'm just going to go back to the screen share, but this is one of the biggest giveaways in a while. This is a lot of stuff, and it's from all over the place. So, yeah, I'm just going to go back to the screen share because that was a better way to show everyone what is actually in it. Sorry, trying to get it back. So this month, we not only have Area 52 crystals. Here we go. So you all can, nope, not yet. Now you can see it all. All right. So right down here in front, the right, front dead center, that is actually a Pennsylvania quartz point. That was donated by Joanna, and I'm not going to reveal the location because it was a farmer's field that she had private access to. So that is a private location, but she donated a lot of great crystals. So someone is going to get one of those tonight. We have the 3 Area 52 Herkimer diamonds. One of them is actually a shard of a skeletal. So you're going to get a great skeletal specimen. Right above that in the picture, those are 2 pieces of flint from Ohio, from Samantha. Those are really colorful, really nice specimens there. Moving over, right under the word fluorite, that is actually from Mohawk Valley Mineral Mining. That is a micro pocket containing dolomite crystals and a Herkimer diamond in there. And there's some other stuff in the back that I couldn't really see. But it's a nice little pocket, so you're going to get that as well. Below that, fluorite. Middleburg, National Limestone. Basically, someone found a whole bunch of just chips, so they made sure I knew about it so I could collect a bunch of them for the members. So pretty much, next few meetings, we're going to be giving away fluorite. So everyone, choose a number between 1 and 450. Type it into the Zoom chat. Starting now. No duplicate numbers. Second entered must choose again. So if you see in the chat that you put in a number someone had already picked, you got to pick it again. We're gonna watch that. We'll have someone take care of that. Number will be chosen after the presentation tonight by random.org. So with that, we have Patrick Murphy, 1.7 billion years in one place. This is one place I have always personally wanted to go to. I actually reached out to the head up there. I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but I reached out to him a couple years ago and set up to go do a Dirtman report up there with him on the actual dinosaur floor in socks, in that museum. Unfortunately, that year I couldn't actually stop by on the way to Maine. It just didn't work out, and the museum had just closed down for some renovations, so it was just not the right time for us to meet up. 2 years later, I reached out to him again because I wanted to bring him on the program. He wasn't able to come out on Tuesday, so Patrick Murphy is here. He is from the museum. And unfortunately, I don't have any other kind of introduction for you other than I am so glad for you to be here. I love the museum, and I'm excited to hear what you have for us tonight, Patrick.
All right. Well, thank you, Andrew. Very lovely to be here and very lovely to be able to share everything with Dinosaur State Park with all of you folks. And would hope to see you all here someday, either by yourselves or maybe as a group trip. Either way, we'd love to see all of you. And right now, I am going to share my screen so that I can show you all exactly what we're all about. So for those of you who might not know, Dinosaur State Park is, it's a park run by the state of Connecticut that has dinosaur stuff. Pretty straightforward. Specifically, we are the site of an in-situ dinosaur trackway that contains about 750 footprints preserved under our geodesic dome. So people can come into the main exhibit center and look at the footprints, seeing the exact spot where the dinosaurs were walking around doing dinosaur things about 200 million years ago. So the story of Dinosaur State Park is kind of the story of the geology of Connecticut. You get a snapshot into all the processes that kind of form the state. Connecticut has a pretty interesting geologic history. We have lots of different types of rock, despite being a relatively small state. And it all begins about 400 million years ago. That's kind of when the processes begin. So if you look at here, this continent here, Laurentia, this is North America basically, but it's missing a lot of pieces. So these black stars, each of these black stars is basically a piece of Connecticut. So the first piece here is the very northwest part of the state. That's where our oldest rocks are, and that's the actual part of Laurentia itself. But over time, all these different pieces eventually come together as the supercontinent of Pangaea forms. So whether or not it's these ocean bottom sediments, these volcanic island archipelagos, this microcontinent Avalonia here, over hundreds of millions of years, they all come together, they all smush together via plate tectonics and form the supercontinent of Pangaea. And at this point, Connecticut is smack dab right in the middle. So kind of right where the western coast of Africa is pushing right up against our eastern coast. No Atlantic Ocean yet. That's not going to form for another 50 million years. And you have huge mountains because when those continents, when those land masses and ocean sediments all smush together, they drive up huge mountains right here in Connecticut. So this is looking about 250 million years ago. And then fast forward another 50 million years. That label is incorrect. So Pangaea is starting to pull apart in the early Jurassic period, about 200 million years ago. So you have the young Atlantic Ocean, just a little narrow strait in between the continents. If you're standing in Mystic 200 million years ago and you have a good pair of binoculars and it's a nice clear day, you can probably see the western coast of Morocco. And these are the forces that are responsible for the preservation of our dinosaur footprints. Because when you have those continents pulling apart from each other, you have fissure eruptions. So giant, massive cracks in the ground where lava is just spewing up, very similar to what's going on in Iceland today. This is a photo from Iceland. So you have these fissure eruptions where the continents are pulling apart. So you have this basalt forming right in the center where that crack is. But then on either side, you have the valley, the central valley, a rift valley that forms when those continents pull apart. So that's where the dinosaurs are, and that's where the dinosaur footprints are, and that's where you can find dinosaur footprints in Connecticut as well as Massachusetts, is in the Central Valley. You cannot find dinosaur footprints or any fossils in the eastern and western parts of the state because that's all metamorphic stuff from much older, from the mountain building. But you can find dinosaur footprints and footprints from other animals and bones and many other things, including here. This is a fish coprolite that our park director, Michael Ross, found recently over in, I believe, Meriden. So we have lots of different types of animals, lots of different things we know of. Our Connecticut fossil record spans the late Triassic to early Jurassic, so from about 215 to 200 million years ago. So this illustration here on the right, this is actually kind of what it would have looked like right here in Connecticut, right where I'm sitting 200 million years ago. You have these lake shores where dinosaurs are leaving their footprints in the soft sediments. The sediments are from the eroding mountains in the eastern western parts of the state. Gravity brings them down into the valley, and you have the dinosaurs just walking along a lakeshore, just like you would today. But a big difference is the difference in the climate. The climate was a seasonal monsoonal climate, so for parts of the year it's very wet, parts of the year it's very dry. Those footprints harden during that dry season, and then the next time the wet season comes along, the lake kind of expands and deposits sediments over the footprints. More and more stuff piles on top until eventually all that sand cements together into gray sandstone. And then fast forward about 200 million years. Oh, well, so just a brief overview. So here's our basic geologic map of Connecticut. So on in the very northwest corner, these are our oldest rocks. This is the actual original piece of Laurentia. So our oldest rocks are about 1.7 billion years old. Then the green parts here, this is all the metamorphic stuff left over from mountain building. And then in the center here, you have the valley. So the red parts here, here's the basalt, which corresponds to where that, those fissure eruptions were. And then all the yellow stuff around, that's the sedimentary rock. So here at Dinosaur State Park, we have both. We have the sedimentary and the basalt. If you go out on our nature trails onto the back of our blue and yellow trails, you're walking on a basalt ridge. All right. But we fast forward to 1966. So the state of Connecticut had purchased this land with the original intention of building a testing lab for the Department of Transportation. As they were digging into the bedrock, one of the backhoe operators pulled up a slab of rock and noticed that it had this weird mark on it. And he didn't really know what to make of it, so he kind of brought it to the attention of his supervisor, who called up the state engineer, who called up some scientists who took a look. So here are scientists looking at the rocks and determining that, yep, these were dinosaur footprints. Now, that's not too unusual. Dinosaur footprints have been found in Connecticut before. However, what was different about this time was that the more they kept digging, the more rocks they pulled out of the ground, the more footprints, and it just would not stop. And it just kept finding more footprints and more footprints and more footprints until eventually you have, about around 1,500 to 2,000 footprints discovered total. So at the time, it was one of the largest dinosaur trackways known from North America. It's been superseded since then, but at the time, pretty big deal. So if you take a look, these are just a couple of examples of the types of footprint we find here at Dinosaur State Park. A lot of different types of dinosaur footprints are known from Connecticut, but this is our state fossil, the what we call the Eubrontes footprints. Now, just to clarify here, Eubrontes is not the name of a dinosaur. It's the name of the footprint itself. Fossil traces get their own names separate from the animals that might have made them, because we can never be 100% positive. So here we have these Eubrontes footprints. They have 3 toes. The middle toe is longer than the outer 2 here. And you can also see a hooked notch in the back of the heel. And in some, you can even see these sharp claws. That's another sort of unique feature about Connecticut's dinosaur footprints, is that ours tend to be much better preserved in terms of the clarity of the shape. A lot of other dinosaur footprints are known, but ours have this very clear, like even here in this old black and white photo, you can see like the fleshy pads on the underside of the foot, the claws on the tips of the toes, and some Connecticut footprints, not here at Dinosaur State Park, but some have actually preserved skin impressions from the underside of the dinosaur's foot. And a lot of different environmental reasons for that, and I kind of can't go into this right now because we only have so much time. But they kept finding more and more footprints, a lot of interesting, unique features. So these are actually manus prints. So our dinosaur was a 2-legged dinosaur, walked on 2 legs. But here, for whatever reason, our dinosaur leaned over and pressed its hands into the substrate. So we're not entirely sure why the dinosaur did that, what prompted it to lean over like that. It's kind of interesting to think about, but it's a kind of reminder that, that's the thing about trace fossils, is that they are moments in the animals' lives, all right? That these are what these animals were doing while they were alive. Bones tell us all about what they look like, whereas trace fossils are more about their behavior. Where's my mouse? There we go. Now, in addition to footprints, there are a number of other environmental things that are preserved on the trackway. Ripple marks are very clear to see. So we know from the ripples that this is going to be shallow water. It's not directional. There's no current, so it's not like a river. It's going to be low energy water. And because it's such a wide area, that makes us think it's going to be something like a lake or a flood playa. So yeah, the excavation just kept going. More and more slabs pulled up. A lot of these slabs ended up going to Connecticut schools, to universities, or even public schools, elementary schools. So it was a pretty big boon. And of course, the state had to decide what to do. What do we do with this find? Because I'm sure a lot of you folks know that there aren't legal protections for fossils in the same way that there are for human remains, right? If you're building a mall and you dig up like pottery and human bones, it has to stop everything. It has to be a survey. They have to, take notes. No, if you find fossils on your property, you can do whatever you want with them. So originally, the state of Connecticut just wanted to keep building. They didn't care, dinosaur footprints, whatever. But largely thanks to people, and especially kids, writing in to the governor and being like, can we maybe not destroy the dinosaur footprints and maybe move the testing lab down the road and keep the footprints? That's ultimately what led to this being declared a state park. So that's why it's very important. And just to kind of show just how tenuous the situation was, a couple of years earlier, a similar track site had been found during the construction of what is today the West Farms Mall. And when the news broke out about Dinosaur State Park, it was in all the newspapers, it was headlines, and the owner of the land came forward and said, wait, we found dinosaur footprints on our land too. And like, that's cool, why didn't you say anything? It's like, oh, we were afraid that like if we said something that people would make us stop. It's like, okay. And then a couple of years later, a similar thing happened with the construction of the Buckland Hills Mall in Manchester. Another giant dinosaur trackway that was discovered, another landowner that didn't care and just decided to pave over them. So that's why it's very, very special and very important that we have Dinosaur State Park, because if we did not, if the state had not already owned this land, there's a very good chance that these footprints would probably have been destroyed as well. But we have them, and you can see them, and we can study them, so that's what's very special and important about Dinosaur State Park. So here's just a shot from an aerial view kind of showing the entirety of the trackway, this big section taken out here. It's huge. Like I said, there's somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 footprints. It's an absolutely massive track site. And this is the section that's actually preserved under the dome. So when you come to Dinosaur State Park and you're looking in the main exhibit center, this is the section that you're looking at here. Unfortunately, there wasn't sort of enough money to build a museum center that was large enough for the entire trackway. So this was sort of because, one of the downsides of living here in New England is our wonderful weather. So you can't just leave, the dinosaur footprints outside indefinitely forever. Eventually, the wind and the rain and the snow and the ice is going to destroy them. So their first solution was basically this giant inflatable bubble, but that kept tearing apart from again, wind, snow accumulation, just not a great idea for a permanent solution. But they had to do something. And the original plans were very grand. There was plans for this huge exhibit hall and, all sorts of different ideas for what exactly was going to be here. So some of these early renderings here. So you can see this was the original plan for the exhibit center, 2 levels. Very, very nice. Unfortunately, like with so many things with the state, a lot of those plans just never materialized. The budget just never really got there because there's always something more important than dinosaur footprints. So what we ultimately ended up with in the late 70s is our geodesic dome. So this is where you come inside and you see the dinosaur footprints. The dome was chosen specifically because it's a great structure to have like a big open area so that you don't want large support structures getting in the way of looking at the footprints. Kind of defeats the purpose. So that's why the dome was chosen and is still here to this day. So here's the dome. And like I said, there just wasn't quite enough money to build a museum that was large enough for the entire trackway. So here's the dome, and then all this space here, this is where the rest of the footprints are. They were reburied to protect them. We did check up on them a couple years ago, back in 2012. I say couple, that's 14. So they are still there. And they're still in good condition. There's a polyurethane foam that protects them from ground moisture as well as about 6 feet of topsoil. So our hope is that, maybe one day we'll be able to get enough money to re-excavate that buried trackway and extend the museum to include all the footprints. That's what we would really ideally like to do. In the meantime, the park is still able to offer a lot of different things to people. We have beautiful nature trails, about 3 miles worth of hiking trails that are lovely, open year-round. So whether you're in the summer and you want to take a look at our red maple swamp and look at frogs and snakes, things like that, or if you want to come with snowshoes and hike them during the winter, either way is fine. There's this annoying thing where people seem to think that we close for part of the year. We don't. We're open year-round. So we're always happy to see people come visit us, no matter what time of year it is. Inside our main exhibit center, we feature a number of live animals, a combination of Connecticut native wildlife, as well as a few exotic animals who used to be pets and are not pets anymore. So you can, whether it's our African spurred tortoise, Waldo, or our box turtle, Olivia, our green iguana, Iggy, you can all come say hi to them. We have baby Fiona here, who this picture was taken when she first came here about 5 years ago. She's now the biggest snake here. She's about as long as I am tall, and I'm a big guy, so that means something. Let's see. And we offer a number of guided programs, both live animal encounters, track talks, which is one of the staff goes down onto the trackway to talk about the dinosaur tracks, the history of the park. We do school groups for all ages, everything from kindergarten up through college. We have different programs for different groups that all come to learn different things. And sort of, it's all about what can we learn by looking at the dinosaur tracks? What evidence, what clues are preserved that we can see directly with our own eyes because the fossils are in situ. They have not been moved from their original location. So a lot of that original data is still there that we can take a look at. We have a number of exhibits. We do programs in our discovery room, which is lots of things to see and to do, lots of activities, coloring, puzzles, books, toys. Exhibit center, everything in the exhibit center. There's dioramas and other fossils from other parts of Connecticut. Like I said, we have our live animals as well. And we try to offer new exhibits when we can. Obviously, we don't have as much money as we would like, but whenever we can, we try to install new exhibits like this augmented reality sandbox, where you can dig in it and sort of shape the terrain, and the terrain will transform depending on the elevation, or our interactive floor here, which has games and activities or just sort of cool, mellow displays, which are pretty neat. Alrighty, I don't think we have time for this video here, but we also like to look to the future. So like I said, ideally one day we would love to be able to extend the museum to include as many tracks as possible. That buried trackway has not been looked at by anybody in detail since it was reburied back in the late 60s. Late 70s. So ideally, there are probably some very interesting things on that trackway that we have yet to really notice and discover. So one day, maybe we'll be able to re-excavate that buried trackway and, be able to share all of those really neat things with everybody. Because those footprints are, right now, they're just sitting underground and they're not really doing much for anybody sitting under 6 feet of topsoil. So that's where I'd like to be. And if you have, so obviously we're going to have time for questions if you want to ask me anything. But if you think of anything later on and you don't have me on hand to answer, you can go ahead and talk to our environmental education coordinator, Michael Ross. Here's his contact information. But apart from that, I think that wraps up everything for me. So
I think we do actually have one question from Kyle.
Yeah.
I saw you raised your hand at one point. Did you have a question, Kyle? Kyle Kessler. Sorry, Trostle's on here too. He's trying to figure out. There you go.
No, I do not have a question.
Oh, okay. I was giving you first opportunity. Okay. Cool. Does anyone else have any questions they'd like to ask? Well, all right then.
Hi. I had to unmute mine on my laptop there. Thank you for your presentation. That was really freaking cool.
Thank you.
And I was kind of amazed to see that you actually have live critters out there as well.
Yep.
My sister has the sulcata. Do you guys ever take those?
Well, that's the sulcata is the African spurred tortoise. So we have one currently. He's about halfway to being full grown, and we're not entirely sure what we're going to do when he gets there.
Okay.
Right now we don't really have the space for that. So it may be one day we have to send him somewhere else. But for now, he's he lives here, and sometimes in the warmer months we'll take him outside and he'll just munch on all the grass and clover out there. So he's pretty happy.
Yeah, that's her problem as well. What am I going to do with him, because they need a place to bathe as well.
Mm. Yeah, I'll say right off the bat, if anybody is looking to thinks that we'd be a good place for their pets, not at the moment. We are really low on space at the moment, so probably best to look elsewhere.
All right,
Well,
Joshua.
I'm sorry. I do think we should plan a field trip out to the museum for sure.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, maybe we can do a similar trip to what is this weekend. Do that with just one of the days being the Dinosaur State Park. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
I'm down.
Yeah. All right, Joshua, you had a question? You're muted if you are trying to talk. All right. Joshua has his hands raised, but I'm not hearing anything. So, and I'm not. There you go.
Yep.
Yep, we got you, Joshua.
Where is the diamond mountain?
That's a New York trip. That's a Herkimer Diamond trip that was on that field trip list. I think you're talking about that is in Little Falls, New York. Well, however, the Dinosaur State Park is actually in Connecticut, right near Hartford. You're right down the road, like 91, isn't it?
Yeah, we're 10 minutes to south of Hartford.
Yeah. I know I drive by it all the time going to Maine. All right. Do we have any other questions for Patrick? All right. Well, thank you, Patrick, and thank Michael Ross for me too. And sorry he couldn't be here, but yeah, thank you both. This has been great.
Yeah, no, it's our pleasure.
All right, and hopefully we can get a trip together and get you some members getting out there and seeing y'all. So
Definitely.
all right, if you want to stop sharing, we'll do our giveaway. Thank you, sir. All right. So we have a whole bunch of comments. We've got a bunch of numbers. If anyone hasn't gotten their number in, including you, Patrick, if you want to put a number into the chat, you can win as well. Get it in now. I just need to share my screen. Yeah, we're going to go back here. There we go. And of course, it's blocking my tab. There we go. Here we go. All right. So is everyone ready? We're going to go 1 to 450. And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The winner is 398. Whoever got closest to 398 without going over.
That's Nicole.
Nicole.
Nacole.
Nicole. All right.
Nicole.
So
she was under it, the closest one under it.
all right. Nicole, is that you? Were your daughter earned a fossil badge? Was that you? Am I
Yes.
guessing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eleanor. Yep.
Yeah, Eleanor. All right, cool. Awesome. That's
And
awesome.
she picked the number,
Congratulations.
so she won.
Oh yeah, and your son too. Yeah, you have a son as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Well, congrats.
Congrats.
Awesome.
All right. Well, there are plenty of crystals and minerals coming your way in that box. That will go out soon. I always tell everyone, bear with me if it doesn't get out for a few days. I think as long as it's been a week for me. Sorry about that, but they all get out eventually. And thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone. I do want to say to all the members out there, it has been absolutely overwhelming. We have people joining the club every single day. And just this past weekend, we had 15 members join. We are growing exponentially, and it's just amazing and humbling. So we are doing everything on our end to bring you the best and give you the best. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for everything that you do for us, as club members. I'm going to turn it over to the team. If anyone has anything they'd like to say, Tina, Sylvia, I'm going up the list here. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add? Vanessa? Mike?
I just want to say if we don't know you and you're out on a trip, if we haven't met yet, don't be scared. Come up and say hi and introduce yourself. I want to meet everybody.
Yep. Yeah. And I have to say, living up in Maine and coming down last week to join in with National Limestone Trip and a couple of other things, it was so great to finally meet people in person rather than just seeing their picture on the Zoom meetings. It was a wonderful trip, met a lot of people, and it was exciting to see everybody else's excitement over their finds.
That's part of what makes it special. It really is. All right. Well, if no one else has anything, yeah, we are growing as one big community and family, and that's what makes it special. Is we want all of us and all the members to form bonds and go out rock hunting together when we're not on trips. So, if there's any way we can facilitate that, our members page on Facebook is a great way to meet and connect with people. So we will have events throughout the year and more trips. So thank you all. And with that, thank you, Patrick. And we will see you next month we're going to have an expert on Maryland geology, and he's going to show us about using some of the apps that give us some really good high-res maps and stuff. So maps are important to finding new locations on your own. So this guy's going to be a great resource, and he's going to come at it from a whole different angle, because he's not really a rock hound, but he is a rock hound. He's more of a geologist study kind of guy. So it's going to be a great presentation next month. Getting you all ready for the Texas Quarry in July. So thank you all for being here, and we will see y'all next month and on all the trips. Take it easy, everyone.